Hello, everyone. It's Michael Jaco with Unleashing Intuition Secrets. I have David Schmidt back once again. It's our third show together. It's been very exciting. David Schmidt is the CEO of Lifewave, leading health and wellness company he founded in 2004. Following a long career in business and development, the CEO created the company to help customers tap into their own potential for physical revitalization and youthfulness. Youthfulness, which is what many of us want, many of us look for. I have found that with your products. It's been absolutely phenomenal. I know you built it for the SEAL teams to begin with, and I heard about it through the grapevine, and then I saw that it was available, and I was like, you got to be kidding me. This stuff is usually not available for decades after, it's within the military environment. But fortunately, you were able to finagle it out and get it out to the public. Hats off to you on that. I've been to your warehouse and your where you invent and so forth. Absolutely incredible what you do. You're like a modern day Tesla, but even better, because you have Tesla basically got shut down by the system. You have worked within the system and you've been able to create. So hats off to you.
Oh, well, thank you. Tesla is, I don't know, I'm a huge Tesla fan, and I have a number of technologies that I have built based on Tesla's concepts and theories and work. And, for me, I would say Tesla's probably the greatest inventor that ever lived. And, he was just a genius in so many ways. And of course, we wouldn't have our modern system of electricity without Tesla. And, there's some interesting things actually, about that. First, I want to do my civil duty here and thank you for your service to our country. Most people have no idea what the SEALs do to defend our country and the level of training and commitment that goes into that. So thank you for everything that you've done to support our way of life and support our freedoms.
Oh, thank you very much. Appreciate that. And of course, everyone else that's a veteran appreciates that acknowledgement as well. Thanks.
Yeah, we have had a history of making donations to the Military Order of the Purple Heart. We've worked through branches here in Florida, and we've donated money and also patches to help guys that are suffering in pain and give them some natural pain relief. So I feel very honored that we had the opportunity to do that.
Yeah, that's fantastic. We have someone in our larger organization that was a Vietnam veteran that had 50 years of pain, and once people in our group patched him with the ice wave, and he got pain. He was crying. He was in tears. He hadn't had relief from pain in 50 years. So it is very valuable, what you're bringing to, not only like you brought to the SEAL team and the military, but also to the world. The world is getting to is able to benefit from that. So yeah, we appreciate you. So thank you very much.
Yeah, it was 2 days ago. I had a call with a medical doctor, and this fellow just requested a call, and I took it because he very, very accomplished medical doctor, vascular surgeon, really great credentials and interested in research. So, I went into the call pretty much thinking that he wanted to look at doing some research together. So I said, yeah, sure, let's get together. And he said, look, I'm a diehard skeptic, and I got your patches from a friend of mine 4 months ago, and I flat out said to him, look, there's just no way this thing is going to work. And he said, I can tell you today that I am a totally different person. He was suffering from spinal stenosis, had incredible pain, impaired circulation. Today, he's pain-free. And he said, the other day, I walked over 2 miles without any pain. He said, you don't understand, 4 months ago, I couldn't do that. That was not even within my realm of a possibility. And now I can do it without any problem. So, his parting words were, I need to be involved with what you're doing. So, yeah.
That's incredible. We did a little presentation down in Costa Rica We had a bunch of products we were giving to some of the doctors that were down there at the Optimize Health event that was down there. And a lot of the doctors were skeptical as well. But their wives are like, I'll try that. And they got results, better sleep than they had in 5-6 years. And they lined up for, signing up. So it was pretty cool. So sometimes the doctors will see other people get relief, and then they're like, okay, I got to try that myself. But sometimes, the doctors get relief, and then they are really, because they have large clientele and, people they work with, they really enjoy it quite a bit.
Yeah, and it's really interesting actually as to why people get pain relief with the products. Normally we're thinking about, okay, someone's taking a pharmaceutical drug, it blocks the pain, it's an anti-inflammatory, or maybe someone takes curcumin, they use natural products like that, or maybe they just add some extra organic olive oil, they get the monounsaturated fats, these kind of things. So we think about pain relief in a specific way, but it's really important to understand actually what's really going on. So we could describe pain in either Western or Eastern terms, but essentially, the phenomena is you have a resistance that occurs in the tissue. And so this is from some type of injury, right? It could be just the course of time. People develop a disease like arthritis, or it's from a physical injury, some type of trauma. But there's a change in the resistance in the tissue. When I say resistance, I mean electrical resistance or bioelectrical resistance. And so to relieve pain, we don't want to block the pain signal. Really what we want to do is two things. We want to reduce the inflammatory markers to normalize the tissue, but we want to get the nerve impulses to flow through the tissue in a normal way. And the way that we've gone about doing this is to say, okay, let's go ahead and increase the energy in the cells. That's going to be the first thing. So we stimulate the skin with light. This increases something called cytochrome C oxidase, which is it's an enzyme which acts as like an energy transfer molecule. It signals an increase in energy in the power plant of the cell, the mitochondria, and this increases the electrical charge around the cell. And this, in fact, then alters the tissue conductivity. So now we have a non-drug means for improving the health of the cell, normalizing tissue conductivity, which ends up very, very rapidly, 1-2 minutes reducing pain.
Yeah, and I've had incredible relief as well. In many cases, had my kneecap shattered when I was in the SEAL teams, and occasionally I was lucky they rebuilt me very well. I recovered, and I was passing the SEAL physical test within 6 months. So it's amazing the way the body can recover. But over time, it started to come up. I'd have maybe a week or two, and then as much as 3 weeks where it would really give me some pain. I have to work through it. So one of those occasions, I tried the Ice Wave, and it's when I just first started getting the products, trying them out, and I had when I put it on, I had instant relief, and I didn't have to use them again. Normally I would have to do something like, icy hot or something, or, ice packs or whatever for several weeks. So I tried it that day, and the next day the pain was gone. There was nothing. It was gone instantaneously. The next day there was no pain. So it, like you're talking about, it's basically, stimulating, you get a problem area, something gets blocked, and all you're doing is just helping that process to get moving again, and then it releases it. It sounds very simple, but one of the beautiful things that I've learned over time is that, especially in the SEAL teams, because we have this thing we say, keep it simple, stupid, KISS, right. And that's what I feel about the product, because the product is, you just put it on, it works. You don't have to even know how it works. But if you go into the deeper aspects of it, then you're very impressed. Like you're very skilled at, because it on such a excellent level, you can explain it, and anyone can get it. It's fantastic.
You know, you said something interesting. You used the word time twice. So there's an engineer that I met. His name is Paul Babcock. He's a brilliant engineer. And he's getting up there in age. So he decided that he wanted to start looking into technology for recapturing some of his youth. So he and I met at a conference. I had seen his presentation, brilliant guy. He works in the area of alternative energy production, alternative health. And he saw my presentation on this technology that I invented in the field of pulsed electromagnetic field therapy. And I have one embodiment of this, which I don't show in public, but I talked to him about it. And he said, what this technology does is very rapidly heal the body. So this would be a black project, right? In DARPA or DOD. And essentially this technology allows cells to overcome the normal speed limit on protein synthesis. And we're learning some very interesting things about this. We have a tech that we've successfully developed where protein synthesis goes up about 100 times over normal. So you'd have to have somebody on an IV of amino acids and antioxidants and oxidants to take full advantage of it. But I mean, the net end effect is you could take somebody with a broken bone, and instead of it healing in 6 weeks, it heal in about 12 hours. So
Wow.
that's the magnitude of the effect. So I had a conversation with Paul about this, and he said, well, what my research has shown is that the type of field that you're producing around the tissue is actually time dilation. And it's not that you're speeding up the protein synthesis, is you're literally changing the relationship that the cell has with time. So more happens in a shorter period of time. It's way more complex than that, but that's basically a simple way of describing it.
Wow, that's incredible. And that's what a lot of us have noticed with the products as well, is a reduction in age. And we see it, physically see it, and on a, the physical level where I work out and so forth, I see it, increasing my abilities. I work out harder. I have more muscle again and all the different things. So when COVID hit, it was basically devastating because I was at a very, very high peak, one of the highest peaks I've been in my lifetime. And then having to be isolated. Of course, I snuck out and did stuff anyway, but I couldn't get to the gym and do the kind of workouts I needed and get out on the lake. And, they locked everything down. So it definitely set me back, and I was having a hard time regaining that again. So when I tried, the patches, it basically just got me right back up there very quickly. So that's the beauty, I think, of this. And so there is some kind of time dilation going on where the things seem to be, and that's one of the reasons why I wanted to get into Lifewave as well, because I looked at everybody that was like my age or older, and they looked a lot younger. I was like, I'm doing this. This is great.
Yeah, we're really in very interesting period of time for humanity, in that as long as society remains stable, which is a little bit of an if, these days, as it always has been, that we're going to see the advent of human beings that have capabilities that have never existed before. So, and I'm not talking about transhumanism, because I would not be a fan of, putting computer chips and things like that into people. I think that's extraordinarily dangerous. What I'm really talking about is the innate ability that we were created with. God gave us the ability to effectively be upgraded. And now we're discovering technology to allow that to be possible, to allow us to perform at a level never before possible, to allow us to heal faster before, give us resistance to things like 5G and Wi-Fi, Bluetooth. So these are going to be things that we're all going to have access to. And as a consequence, we're not going to look at aging the same way, and people will be able to lead very productive lives, more or less as long as they wish. But it starts with looking at organisms that exist. So in our lab, we study planaria and lobsters and ants and frogs, tadpoles. We look at things that have advanced regenerative capability, and we look at developing biomimetic systems that can duplicate what they've been able, what they inherently have in human beings. And we've been extraordinarily successful, actually, with this. So we see it as inevitable that human beings will have technology that will prevent aging and also reverse aging. And the science does bear that out.
Yeah, that's amazing, because I saw, in the SEAL teams that, myself and other people, we were capable of unbelievable things physically. And I'm thrilled that you were, part of helping, the SEAL teams at one time, increase that, or at least maintain that capability, because it is those long dives that we do and so forth. It's tough. So having something that would, take that to the next level is really good. And then you took that technology and you gave it to the Olympic. So you almost went from like high performance to as high, if not higher. There were times where I saw Olympic athletes and professional sports players come into the SEAL teams. When I was an instructor, I was like, these guys are going to crush it. And then they would come to Hell Week, where we just go way beyond the average, what people expect they can do, and they would be the first to quit. And I was dumbfounded by that. But there is the ability within us, the innate ability to push well beyond, and then having something that can help us, do that at a faster level and even further. That's pretty impressive.
Yeah, it's mindset all at that point. So there is a scientist that we work with. Her name is Beverly Rubik, and she's very well known. She's one of the most, I think, well-known biophysicists in the United States. And she was really the one to study and define the human biofield. And this is not an esoteric thing. We can use techniques like squid magnetometers to detect the energy field around the heart, around the brain. There's any number of different techniques to measure the flow of energy in the body. There's surface electromyography to measure energy fields in the muscle and other tissue, and so forth. And I had this conversation with her because she's so well known. She has worked with a number of very unusual individuals, one of whom I met, and I'll share that story with you if you like. But one of the people that I didn't meet, this fellow was able to take a needle and pass it through his body without bleeding. And she asked him how he did it. And he said, well, he goes, there's space between the electron and the proton, there's space between atoms. So I just think that the needle is passing through the empty space in the atoms of my body. And Beverly said, well, I saw him do it, but that explanation didn't really make sense to me. But he trained his mind to believe that, and it became a reality.
Yeah, I've actually seen people do that in the Philippines. It's a knife culture, so they're very much into some of these things. And I saw a guy take blades and like stick them, and I touched the blade. I saw him stick the blade in his arm, and I'm seeing his no blood, no anything. He pulled it back out. There was no mark, and I was like, that's incredible. So
Yeah.
it is a mind, body thing, and that's one of the things I learned over time, to overcome incredible amounts of pain. My chiropractor was like, I've never seen anyone with pain tolerance on the level that you have. It's way off the graph. But she tweaked me a little bit, got me back to normal again. But it is something that the human body can, withstand and continue to move forward. But again, having the technology, to take us to another level, I've always seen that as a possibility, and here it is. You have it.
Yeah, and it does all seem to come back to energy and light. The other fellow that I was going to tell you about was this fellow, Dr. Hiroka, who I spent some time with. So back in maybe 2005, I was doing a lecture in San Francisco, and he was a PhD and martial artist, and he showed up, and he took a liking to me. So he said, well, come and see me, and I want to show you some of the things that I'm doing with energy medicine. So I thought, oh, this could be, pretty interesting. So his wife, weighed about 100 pounds or so. And, I'm not as big as you are. I'm not small, but I'm not big like you are. And so he said to me, okay, go ahead and pick up my wife, which I easily lifted her. And then he did this thing where he threw like an energy beam at her. And he said, okay, go ahead and pick her up. And it was like her feet were cemented into the ground. I could not budge her. So he showed me a research study that he did. Bear in mind, he wasn't just a martial artist, he was also a PhD. And they were able to photograph gamma rays coming out of his eyes.
Wow.
So he was somehow able to cultivate this energy inside of him and then transfer it over to other people where it would have an effect based on whatever his intention was. So with Lifewave technology, we're using light to turn on systems that people normally couldn't access. And this is how we're able to restore some things like copper peptide, glutathione, carnosine back to more youthful levels. But it all comes back to working with the energetic and the systems in the body, and specifically using light for communications.
That's incredible. Yeah, I don't know what it is about the martial arts realm, but when I went deep into that realm too, I started to understand the alpha brain waves and the different brainwave patterns: beta, alpha, theta, and you take the beta and the alpha and you get that gamma range, and that's what monks and Buddhist monks do. They sit in the snow and they're in that gamma range of consciousness. And I started to teach people how I went into that consciousness state, and I started teaching other people to go in that consciousness state. So I feel, when I put these patches on, I feel like that kind of, euphoric feeling sometimes. I hadn't made that connection until right now. So that's pretty impressive.
Yeah, we did. I haven't thought about this for a long time, but you're bringing back some fun memories. We had a neurologist that we were working with, and we did a anecdotal study. I think it was at the University of Tennessee. And so this is going back quite a few years. So I remember we did this with the energy patches at first, and then later on we did it with the Eon patch. But I came up with this protocol. It was based on the mathematics of the pyramid. And so I found acupuncture points that could kind of create the same ratios as you'd have in the base of a pyramid. And so essentially you'd put the energy patches up over on the temples, and then the front and back of the body. And then there was one point up on top of the head that we ended up putting an Eon patch. And we hooked people up to EEGs. And what happened was about 50% of their brain waves started to go into synchronization. And people would describe that they felt like they were in an altered state of consciousness. Some people said they felt like they were floating. And he said, when they looked at the EEGs, he said, it would take somebody, they'd have to practice for 20 years. Meditation to get the brain waves to come into sync the way stimulating those points with your patches did. in a period of about 20 minutes. So there's definitely there is definitely a relationship between state of mind, brain waves, and human capabilities, but most people have a difficult time getting there. And so if we can use technology as an aid, then so much the better.
That's fantastic. And, there's a lot of interference out there to inhibit us and actually, make us unwell, towers and, injections and all that kind of stuff. We've talked about that in another show, but that is pretty impressive, when you can have another harmonizing type of technology that counters that and actually probably uses some of that other technology and highlights, your own body's abilities. So it's almost like they're giving us energy they think they're going to, harm us with their energy, and they're actually giving us energy to increase our body's potential.
Yeah, I would actually, on that note, I would recommend that people be taking a copper supplement regularly. Could be something as small as 2.5 milligrams of copper glycinate. You can get dark chocolate in your diet, and that's going to help. There's copper in that. Liver is the best naturally occurring source of copper, but taking too much liver can have an adverse effect on the iron levels in the blood, so that's not necessarily a good thing. So a copper supplement is the easiest way to do it. And the copper goes into the skin, and what looks to happen is that it acts like gives your body the ability to act like a Faraday cage, and we can screen out some of these harmful man-made synthetic radiation. So there's very good literature, especially on copper peptide, the work done by Lauren Picard, where women that were going through radiation treatment, if you want to call it that, for breast cancer, they were given injections of copper peptide, and this was able to prevent the healthy tissue from being burned by the radiation. So it was actually able to block radiation of that level. And also increasing copper peptide helps to protect the skin from the harmful effects of UV light that we're naturally exposed to, especially here in Florida. So there's enormous benefits to supplementing with inexpensive copper.
Yeah, and I've noticed since so I've been using the patches for a little over a year now. So before this, I'd always have to have some kind of sunblock or screen. This year, and I still usually get burned to a certain extent every year, a little bit, but this year I've not used any at all ever, and I've tanned probably one of the best tanning years I've ever had. So there's definitely some benefit from having copper peptides around. So.
I certainly believe that's true. You wouldn't be the first person that has said that supplementing with copper, elevating copper peptide, protects the skin from UV light and actually helps you get to a tan faster. We've never done a study on it. I've experienced the benefit, and certainly anecdotally, it's something we hear. So it's an interesting area for investigation.
Yeah, most definitely. So you have a lot of patents. How many patents are you up to now?
Oh God. I don't know, over 150. I've stopped counting. It's kind of silly after a while.
You definitely have the code for that, because there's most people never get one patent. I know tons of people. I've never even attempted it, but I know a lot of people have attempted to get patents, and it's a very difficult process. So to have that many is pretty impressive. So what is your formula for getting patents for all your products? And that should be a tell for anyone that's out there saying, oh, these, I don't know, I don't think these work. Well, we have over 150 patents, and they don't give away patents unless you can prove that you are doing what you say.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No, absolutely. And I had a really great experience this year where I filed for a patent, and 4 months later, the U.S. government came back and issued the patent. And the general, process is you file for a patent in the United States first, and then there's a nexus with other countries, And basically other countries, they look at the US first. So then you have like 18 months to file patents in other countries and develop your patent strategy. But we always file in the US first, and then we go from there. And this was really, really surprising. I think it's the fastest that I ever got a patent. And what was so rewarding about it is that this was based on Bible codes. And I'm almost getting ready to talk about it. I'll be talking about it more next year. But what I would say that has been revealed to me is the fingerprint of God, the fingerprint of creation. And what I mean by that is I spent years looking at different living organisms that didn't age, that are effectively immortal. You know, they can be killed by accident, by predators, by sickness. But if left in a perfect environment, these organisms never age, and some of them are immortal, the way we would think about it. And I was spending years to figure out, how are they doing this? And I was determined to look at the energetic systems of these organisms. The biochemistry is important, but I really wanted to uncover what was the energy systems involved in making this happen. So I found there was, in fact, a biological code, a mathematical code that was lining up, and much like a musical code. I might say it's something like that, much like you'd put together a song and it would have a rhythm. I found this in lobsters to start with, and I found it also in some species of ants. And I was very grateful that the research led this. And then, I do a Bible study. And in this one Bible study I did, and this is after I made this discovery in lobsters and ants, I was taking this Bible study, and it was a subject about numbers in the Bible. And I started to see some patterns. And I was like, well, wait a minute, this looks familiar. So I got out my calculator, I started punching it in, and the numerical codes that I was seeing in the Bible matched identically to the codes that I found in lobsters. And I started digging into this more and more. And the more that I dug into it, the more everything added up, and it was extraordinary. So the implication to this is that you would expect that a God that created the universe would be the best mathematician and physicist and biologist and biochemist that ever existed. And like a painter would leave his signature, in creation. And these codes that I'm talking about in lobsters and ants, you couldn't detect these until, maybe 10, 20 years ago. The technology wasn't there. So the human beings that wrote the Bible through the inspired word of God, they didn't have access to this equipment, and there was no way they could know, what these living codes were. So, the implication is, which is enormous, is number one, yeah, there really is a God and creator. And number two, there's a mathematical code that leads us to a path for creating technology, for duplicating what lobsters and ants have already naturally do, which is not age and be biologically immortal. I don't know which one's more exciting. I can't, I already believed in God before, so I don't know which one is more exciting, but it's exciting. Oh, sorry.
Yeah, sorry, I was muted. That's amazing. It's just always like reaching another level. A lot of people have said that your information comes from God, so that's a lot of fun. You just did a new YouTube about some of the products that you have out there right now. And somebody wrote, David Schmidt is what the universe gives us when it is showing off. So I thought that was very apropos. So
I will endeavor to maintain a state of being humble. I would prefer not to let my ego run away.
Yeah, and I appreciate that about you. We've been together several times, and I value someone that has that's humble, because I think that if you're not humble, you don't allow, really good information to come through. And so that's definitely the way you are. And you do have a very good physique. I don't know. I would almost say you're on par with me. So that's nice of you to say that. I have a
Well, yeah, I don't know
to
about
say
that, but I'm not going to arm wrestle you anytime soon. Let's put it that way. Yeah.
That's funny. So I know that a lot of people are curious, what are the next steps for you as far as the patches, where do you want to take this? I know we're having a convention coming up here pretty soon, and I know you always reveal you save the good stuff for the conventions, but is there anything you can kind of like give us a little teaser about right now?
Oh, well, first of all, I'd say that we are on both Friday and Saturday of convention. We're going to be unveiling new technology that our community has never seen before.
Mm,
And I'm really looking forward to it. We're also going to be using this as an opportunity to kick off our 20-year anniversary.
mm.
And I have something that I have invented that is going to be my gift to our members to commemorate and celebrate our 20-year anniversary. And it's kind of my way of saying thank you for allowing us to be where we are today. So I get to unveil that and share that new invention. And I would say, without giving anything away, all of our community members that are going to be there at convention will get to experience this new invention for themselves. I'm bringing some new technology with me from the lab that we're going to show off for the first time. We're going to have an update on our humanitarian program. Last year, we unveiled our humanitarian drone.
Mm.
So we'll have an update on that. And we have a gentleman, Tony Robinson, that's coming from the Red Cross to talk about how we've been working with the Red Cross. So those are some of the things that we're doing in as far as what's coming up very, very short term now at convention.
Very nice. So as far as patches, any new patches or any new technology as far as like wearables coming out?
So there is a new patch I'd like to develop. I've been in process with it. What would I say about it? We have our Y-age system,
Mhm.
which is eon, glutathione, and carnosine. And now in our stem cell system, we have X39, X49, and I do have an X59 in my mind. I would like to have a trio of stem cell products. I think that would be a nice way to wrap that up. It would be a good story arc. So I have thought about that, and I'm certainly researching that. And I definitely have something in mind that I've been working on. But given that next year is our 20-year anniversary, we want to commemorate that by opening up a new door.
Mm.
And we've been a patch company for 20 years, and we really want to migrate into being a technology company. And this is going to dramatically expand the opportunities that we're offering to our brand partners. And it really is all about empowering people and giving them what they need to deal with some of the new things that we're being afflicted with, right? So we're talking about now new vaccine mandates, a new pandemic, lockdowns, things like this, GMO foods, contaminated foods, synthetic meats, 5G, there's this onslaught on our health. I have a friend of mine who's a doctor in Singapore, and he works with the Singapore government, and he said China will not release this, but the life expectancy in China now is 43 because of all the pollution and all the contamination, the corruption of the food supply and everything else.
Mm.
And so they are terrified of what would happen if the general population found that out. So we need new tools. The patches are fantastic, but I've been thinking very, very far beyond that. So we need new tools to give people so that when these pandemics and other things come up, that they feel, okay, I have what I need to deal with this. I don't have to live in fear.
Yeah.
And so I would say in the very short term, and then also in the coming years, we will release other products other than patches, so that people can be self-sufficient in pretty much every area of life and not have to fear what's coming.
Wow, that's incredible. And I know that it's going to be like so simple, but so incredibly advanced, because that's the way your technology is now. It's very simple, very easy. Anyone can use it, but it's extremely advanced. And I've seen, like I said, your laboratory. It's absolutely mind blowing. I was such a gift to be able to go and explore that with you. So I know that you're going to continue to release amazing things for the population. So I'm so excited to be part of the Lifewave team and what you're doing. So thank you so much. Thanks for coming on. Is there any last things you'd like to share before we sign off? I know you're a busy man, so I don't want to keep you too long here.
Yeah, no, I think I'd say thank you for the opportunity and being on with you today. It's always a pleasure. I think what I'd say is, people find themselves in life where they get themselves into circumstances, it could be with their health. They face all kinds of different challenges. And sometimes things look like they can be hopeless, but really there's solutions to every problem. And sometimes it's just a matter of opening up the right door and going down the right path to find that. So I think I'd say to anyone that's currently dealing with a challenge in their life, that first thing is turn to God, pray, keep an open heart, deal with situations with as much love and understanding, accept the situation that you're in, and solutions will come to you. And there are solutions everywhere. So I think I'd say, maintain an attitude of hope, because there is hope.
Absolutely. Beautiful parting words. Thanks so much, David Schmidt, and we look forward to seeing you at the convention.
Sounds good, Michael. Thank you so much. It's been a pleasure.